Beautiful sounds here at the Mandela National Stadium in Namboole as we get to the final showdown of the quarterfinals of the 2024 Rugby Africa Men's Cup. It's the biggest of the day. The home team, the host, Uganda Rugby Cranes, taking on the Zimbabwe Sebos. Earlier on today, we saw Namibia overcome Burkina Faso with a very good advantage. Kenya avenged the 2022 defeat to Senegal in last year's edition, and just from the most recent kickoff, it was Algeria getting the better of Cote d'Ivoire with a 32-12 result. But of course, as you can see the fans, as you can hear the music, it is getting tense, it is getting close to the showdown of the day, and the teams are already in there. So Uganda, the fans in full voice, both at home and away. Zimbabwe as well will be in full voice here. They will be going forward to the pre-match ceremonies led by, of course, the Uganda Rugby Union President Godwin Arinache Kayango and the Minister of Sports, Honorable Peter Ogwang, amongst a host of other dignitaries. The national anthems will be sung by the ever-beautiful Sandra Subi, and it is just moments before kickoff here at the Mandela National Stadium in Namboole. We now await the teams to take their places in the tunnel. We await that majestic walk onto the playing turf for the final kickoff of this epic Rugby Africa Men's Cup.
DJ Rodmeyer, please continue giving us the tunes as the teams make their way into the tunnel. We have about 5 minutes to kick off. Zimbabwe, the Sables, taking on Uganda, the Rugby Cranes. DJ Rodmeyer.
Massive tune of what? Yeah, man. Yeah, front line always. I wanna run in a character. Yeah, me want me chat about. Go be up front line when I surrender. Front no agenda. To Tira Casino, my agenda. Straight through to December. We make you remember. You don't need to check your calendar. But this never later. Send the casino 5 days later.
National anthem for Uganda, of course, Kawowo, stand up! Kawowo, we are standing for the national anthem, and we pay the respect to the different countries that will begin with the national anthem of Zimbabwe.
All right, DJ, when you're ready. Sing the national anthem of the Republic of Uganda is sung.
For the first time on this match day one of the Africa Rugby Championship, we are going to have an inspection of teams. That tells you that officially the tournament is underway. But that is not because it is Uganda that are the hosts that are taking on Zimbabwe, but it is actually because it is the most hotly contested encounter. Uganda lying 36th in the world, taking on Zimbabwe that lie 30th. The closest that we've come to having a hotly contested by the rankings. The lineups are already before us here, and before you, Hilton Mudariki leading the team Zimbabwe. It's not going to be the first time that he is playing against Uganda. The last time that he was here in 2019 in the Gold Cup, he led Zimbabwe to victory, and they will definitely come into this game with their heads high, confident how important it is playing before they qualify for the World Cup in 2023. They have a big opportunity this time to get off to a good standing, but to get their chances up and high and the spirits really lifted, they definitely have got to win the game this afternoon against a Zimbabwe Sable side that has for many times before had their number. John Vianney Simbe calling this game live here on NBA Sport, and alongside me in the commentary gauntlet is the one Ruben Hihumuro. And we just saw before us a short while ago the coach of the Uganda Cranes, Mr. Fred Mudola. Well, Ruben, this game, Uganda coming with 12 players that took part in the 2022 Africa Rugby Cup that was in Marseille, France, while Zimbabwe coming with 9 players from that last time that these two sides came very close to qualifying to the World Cup.
Always a hotly contested encounter between these two. The second most competitive game that the Rugby Cranes have played after Kenya, of course, and both teams will be looking to really put their foot forward.
Yeah, definitely, it's going to be a very hot one, because if you look at the rankings of the other nations, Ivory Coast and Algeria, Ivory Coast lies 47th in the world, while Algeria are 69th. You look at Kenya and Senegal, big disparity. Kenya 34th, 2 places above Uganda, while Senegal are 61st. And Namibia, who started off the defense of their title with a big win over Burkina Faso, at 23rd against Burkina Faso, who are 92nd. So I guess looking at the rankings, Ruben, just shows you how tough this game is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, the last time that Uganda got a victory in this particular encounter was 2017. I mean, for the last 3 times that Zimbabwe has played Uganda, they have gotten a victory. So the hosts will know that very much so they need to change that narrative, especially against the very passionate and expectant home crowd.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that we can point out, Ruben, is that Uganda come into this encounter well prepared for this.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, they did have a trip to South Africa where they played a few test games against some of the South African provinces. And there were a couple of boys, 7 of them, that even had a longer time, 3 months, in which they had an intense training camp in South Africa. So a lot of preparation has been put into this particular game. Let's see how it pays out.
Farajo Dugo, right there, the hooker, put under pressure by Zimbabwe, releases the ball and finds it's a penalty to Uganda. First opportunity for Uganda to go for pause. I wonder whether they will. I can see Philip Wokorach, 7th player, picks up the ball, but I think he's going to go for touch and try and now play the ball in Zimbabwe territory.
Yeah, it's a bit of a faraway situation from the posts, but that was tackler not releasing by the Zimbabwean. And Philip Wokorach, known for having a very educated boot, he gives us very, very good touch inside the Zimbabwean half, and it's going to be a line out there. Another starting opportunity or a good platform for the Rugby Cranes to attack Zimbabwe.
Well, it's been quite a while since Philip Wokorach turned out for the 15th side, I think because of his engagements with the Sevens. But after the Sevens won a couple of weeks ago the Africa Sevens Cup, he's got some time to actually come and play a part in the 15th side. Good throw in there by Faraji Odugo. As centers Santos tries to gain some territory. Conrad Wanyama finds Asuman Mugerwa, but a bit undecided there, the Ugandan side, especially in the pass coming in from Conrad Wanyama. And Uhuru Charles is driven back by a really vibrant Zimbabwe defense line.
Yeah, definitely there. Uganda not being able to go past the gain line, a bit of a static reception of the ball. They need to do better, as there's a cross kick there, aiming for Timothy Kisiga, Mr. Safe Hands, and he gathers well.
Yeah, Timothy Kisiga also with the Sevens rugby team just a couple of weeks ago. Also is not releasing the ball while on the ground. And it's a penalty, or actually it was an offside from...
Yeah, definitely there. The Zimbabweans putting on the pressure on the counter-rack. Uganda unable to protect its ball and conceding a penalty. And yet again now, Zimbabwe taking us back to the Uganda Rugby Cranes half.
Yeah, into the 10 here. It's going to be a line out for team Zimbabwe. Simba Mandioma throws it in, and well gathered there by Zimbabwe. They do quite well as shot number 9, Hilton Mudariki, the captain, tries to force the issue here. Good release of the ball. Zimbabwe trying to get onto the flank, the wing there, and they gain some bit of territory into Uganda's 22. Good play, Mudariki again, and he finds Aiden Barnett.
The Zimbabweans have really shown that they want to play an expansive, fast game from a get-go. That's what they're trying to do, stretching the ball. Of course, the Dangerman Ian Pryor, number 10, who has played or plays in the Super Rugby with Western Force, but has experience, of course, even playing in England with Harlequins. So a wealth of experience at the toppest level there from Ian Pryor. So, and we should expect a lot from him. And, of course, Hilton Mudariki in that half-back combination.
Well, good play by Zimbabwe as they get into Uganda's 22 here. As they swing the ball, that's brilliant play. As they continue to make strides in. Uganda holding its fort as well here. but Zimbabwe not relenting. Mudariki again.
Yeah,
this time.
Definitely, their defense is being tested for Uganda. How defensively disciplined are they and how efficient are they?
Zimbabwe gaining territory, getting very close to the try line and about to touch down, and they do. And that's the first try of the game from shot number 14 on the right wing.
Edward Zikwake. Edward Zikwake, who plies his trade in South Africa with the Sharks Academy. I'm just finishing off a move. The second line again from Ian Pryor, as we talked about. They are just finding the open man, outright commit and pass in and out, and Shakim Sembusi unable to mark his man out.
Yeah, he was quite flat-footed there, as there was a dummy that was thrown in by Edward Sidwake. Good start for Zimbabwe, and now Ian Pryor will get his boot on to try and add the extras. Just about 6 minutes played in this game. Zimbabwe 5, Uganda 0. Already a wake-up call to Team Uganda.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be important to see how the Ugandans gather themselves up after this. They have seen the intent that is coming from Zimbabwe. How can they counter that?
And it is conversion good, and that's 7 points to Zimbabwe here. And I guess if you're a visiting team like Zimbabwe are, what you need to do to quieten the home crowd is by getting points on the board.
Yeah, definitely that early score will do much for their confidence and of course a little bit dent the crowd, but the one thing that the crowd should do now is be behind the Rugby Cranes. They don't need to really keep quiet at this point.
It's going to be a very big test for the Rugby Cranes, definitely, but also for the crowd itself, as Ivan Magomo, the captain, to get Uganda off to a restart, and off they go again, playing it into Zimbabwe territory.
Oh, the restart goes dead on the kick, and Ivan Magom miscalculating that one. Those are not the kind of errors you need to be making, especially when you've just conceded 7 points to a team that has been beating you for quite a while.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you feel that their temperament is going to be tested, Ruben, here. They've got to calm down and they've got to play the game.
Yes, definitely. It's very important for now, the leaders in the group to tell everyone, let's calm down, let's focus on what we have been training and let us play our structure.
It's ball to Zimbabwe for the scrum down here, as Mudariki, the captain, has got the ball in hand, setting his charges, getting them ready here. As if he's about to feed the ball in. That's what also the scrummages will be important for either side. Pryor kicks the ball into territory for Zimbabwe. So picked up by Timothy Kisiga, trying to find space to run out, but is well grabbed and pushed into touch.
Yes, they are, of course. The player had his knees on the ground, and the defense or the tacklers were not releasing, and that is why Uganda has the penalty. Smart play there by Timothy Kisiga. Yeah, he was outnumbered, but he was able to buy time and also get the penalty.
Well, Timothy Kisiga, one of the clever players, turns out for the Stanbic Black Pirates. And he's had quite a lot of success with the 7 side. Brings that experience to the 15 side as well.
Yeah, definitely. One of the 3 players that are coming into the 15 squad from the recently victorious or triumphant Uganda Sevens team that won in Mauritius. Philip Okorach there in the frame, and Alex Aturinda, who's coming off the bench.
And for the line out is Faraji Odugo for Uganda. Do they win it? Oh, that's knock on there, and it's advantage to Zimbabwe. They make the stride into the 22 of Uganda. Uganda's defense line looks to be quite feeble here, as Mudariki picks it, Ian Pryor, and again Zimbabwe making territory, gaining a lot of space here as they run at the Ugandan defense line, trying to break the lines, and they're not finding it so hard. There's got to be a lot of work done there by the Ugandan defense to try and protect themselves, and a very good passing on the far side, and with the boot, but whistle goes.
Wait to see the call. The referee has given the penalty to Uganda. And you can see their clarity from Ivan Magomo trying to understand Oh yeah, I think it was a case of a tackle that wasn't deemed to be fine. Philip Okorach trying to get some extra meters out of Uganda's half. Uganda has played predominantly a lot of these first 9 minutes or so inside their half, and they need to change that. They have not yet matched the pace and the intensity of Zimbabwe, so they need to answer that quickly.
Well, you get a feeling that maybe they did not expect this kind of pace coming from Zimbabwe, but if they remember well, the last time that Zimbabwe was at Legends, when they faced off, again, it was an early try that was made by Mudariki. So they should know that Zimbabwe has got a plan, and which is to get out of the blocks early.
Yeah, sometimes it's a case of who wants it more at the beginning, but luckily enough, it's an 80-minute game. How can they get themselves back into this equation?
Another knock on the line out, and this time,
yeah, ball lost there and the line out. 2 times Charles Uhuru unable to gather. Combination between the thrower and the jumper is not looking good.
Yeah, and Uhuru is normally very good when it comes to the line outs, at least for his club in the domestic league, that is the Heathens. But even for the national team previously, he's normally been a trusted customer when it comes to, you know, dealing with the line outs. But then Zimbabwe now doing a good job at the ruck here. Mudariki picks it up again, and then there's a knock-on this time from his teammate, and advantage Team Uganda.
Yeah, the player taking his eyes off the ball a little too excited, wanting to go forward even before holding the ball.
Yeah,
yeah. Sometimes you see, when in the basic coaching, what they tell you is rule number 1: first hold the ball. Then you can do whatever else you want to do.
Exactly. Nyawude had possibly read the space, and he wanted to peel through it at the instant.
He was probably already reading the newspaper headlines for tomorrow.
But, Ruben, this is a very important game for all those that are watching this game live. If Uganda fail to win, then they miss out on a semi-final berth, and that will mean that their chances of going for the next round of the 2027 World Cup qualifiers will be dead.
Ideally, of course, if they miss out on this particular win today, they go into the placement.
Yeah.
Then the task will be to avoid rank number 8, which means you would be relegated from the top 8.
Yeah.
If they can keep in there, then it is about where they finish out from 1 up to 8, and then they will be seeded accordingly for next year's fixtures that are going to be the Rugby World Cup qualifiers. Yeah. But the important thing is to win this particular game and try to ascend to the semi-finals against. This is the path that has Namibia that already beat Burkina Faso.
Yeah, and of course, if you finish in the top 4, then you have a bigger chance of making it further, at least in the once it gets to the Rugby World Cup 2027 qualifiers.
Yeah, definitely. At the end of the day, what you want to do is give yourself an easy path of fixtures. That's why you see, no disrespect to Burkina Faso, but they are no match to Namibia. And because Namibia keeps winning the Rugby Africa Cup, they'll always get rank 8. So that is what we need to do. We need to put ourselves in rank 1 and rank 2 as the Rugby Cranes.
The Rugby Cranes Africa champions in 2007. That's 17 years ago, when the likes of Alan Musoke and of course Alex Mubiru and the likes inspired Uganda to that time. And even the coach, Alex, so Fred Mudola was on that team.
Yeah, Fred Mudola, along with his brother, his older brother Timothy Mudola as well, who's also with him in the coaching staff as a strength and conditioning coach. Yeah, so there's a lot of winning DNA in that
coaching staff.
Yeah. We hope they can translate into the boys. Yeah.
So there should be that real extra motivation for Team Uganda. The fact that they've gone 17 years without winning it, while Kenya have done it 2 times before. Now Zimbabwe come again on the left wing. Katutswa Musingwini goes down and Mudariki picks it up. Again he finds Edward Gaude. And then they lose the ball as a knock-on. So it's ball to Team Uganda.
Yeah,
and Uhuru does a good job there. Shot number 4 for Team Uganda.
Yeah, going for the turnover and getting it well. And you can see what it means to the Ugandans. Of course, they are being very intent in the rush defense and then going for the chop tackle at the ankles and trying to make sure that the numbers and the running rugby of Zimbabwe does not hurt them.
I guess that's what they've got to try and make sure that they perfect. The defense has got to be perfect if they are to stop the passing game that and the speed at which the Zimbabweans have started this game.
Yeah, I don't think the forwards, the Rugby Cranes forwards have really expressed themselves fully because they have not given the backs a platform to play. There's no space on the outside for them to explain. I mean, you have dangermen like Timothy Kisiga and Philip Okoracha, and they don't have space to play with. And our scrum has just been decimated.
It's a penalty.
Big scrum there by Zimbabwe, and it's going to be a penalty there.
Now this is where Uganda is going to really be tested at the scrummage. You can see how the Zimbabweans are celebrating because it is this important. They've got an opportunity to add 3 extra points, and I guess they're going for poles. The ball is in a very good position.
Yes, definitely. Ian Pryor looking to add to the 7 points that so far have been scored. He has been instrumental, already showing why he is the one pulling the strings in this team. And his boots, of course, even from yesterday in the captain's run, his kicking was flawless, and he's just translating that energy into today.
Zimbabwe to get to 10 points. Uganda still remain on naught.
Yeah, they're trying to make it more than a 7-point game, which would mean Uganda has to score twice to get close, or at least to go ahead.
Good opportunity for Mark Pryor here. Ian Pryor, and seems like he misses that one.
Misses that one.
Be relieved for Team Uganda.
Perhaps maybe the vuvuzelas have come in handy.
And for Ian Pryor, he'll feel really hard done by this. The fact that that ball was in such a good position, ordinarily would have expected him to actually guide it home.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a little bit also of the wind that pushed it to the other side of the post.
Ian Pryor with a kick. Zimbabwe on the chest, but well picked up here by Timothy Kisiga. And then the ball is turned over so easily. And Zimbabwe seem to be having Uganda's number here. Mudariki. And then he finds, of course, it's Aiden Barnett. They're breaking the lines. Good play there by Zimbabwe. Can they tackle? And of course, it's late there. That is another try for Team Zimbabwe by Takudzwa Musingwini. He left Philip Okoracha for dead there. And it just completes a brilliant move for Team Zimbabwe, who now lead 12-0 against Uganda.
Yeah, Takudzwa Musingwini, the man that plays for the old Hararians in Zimbabwe, getting to score. But it comes off that turnover. Uganda losing the ball, and then Aiden Barnett, the big boys, instead of carrying hard, they choose to show their soft skills. And then Musingwini on the outside finishes with relative class.
That was brilliant play from the lock there. Shot number 5, Simba Siraha, as he gained territory. Very good ball carry that was from him. And he just found that pass to his teammate there, Takudzwa Musingwini, who finished it off.
Simba Siraha there with a chicken wing pass there. Very, very, not every forward can try that, let alone the ordinary pass, but great skills from the second row.
Well, that was the kind of pass that you would think should come from a fly half.
Exactly.
But then coming from a lock, it's quite interesting. Now Ian Pryor with the duty of adding the 2 from the conversion. Can he do it? The last one was missed, at least in the penalty anyway. And again he misses this one. So only made 1 kick count.
1 out of 3.
Yeah.
Seems to have lost his bearings a little bit.
Like you said, also the wind.
Yeah, I think he's really not yet accounting for the wind very well. And it seems to be aligning with the nearer post
to
where he's kicking from.
Yeah.
And you think with the way the wind is blowing, he should perhaps be aligning with the post that is farther.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ruben.
Especially since he's a right-footed kicker and the ball is coming back inside.
Yeah. 12-0, Zimbabwe lead. 19 minutes played. Ivan Magomo, the captain, has got to inspire his charges here. As Mudariki picks it up for Team Zimbabwe, kicks out into touch. To gain territory. It's well picked up by Philip Okoracha. And he makes a kick to make the run in. Can he get the ball? No, he just couldn't. As of course, Takudzwa Musingwini Picks it up there. Zimbabwe's ball now. Playing some really beautiful rugby. They seem to have some really good patterns that they've set up here. As Ian Pryor plays it out on the outside to find his teammate on the run there. That's Sigauke, Edward. And then the ball is picked up by Uganda now. They seem to be on the back foot, playing under immense pressure as their passing doesn't seem to be really on point.
Yeah, I think Zimbabwe's press is really working their strategies, playing well. Ian Pryor is kicking behind the defense and they're all having to trot back, and by the time they receive the ball, the Zimbabweans are already there. So it's a case of having to receive the ball on the back foot, and Uganda hasn't been comfortable for the entirety of the first half.
Was penalty, not releasing man on ground.
Tackler not rolling away there, and it is a penalty. Yet again, this time Ivan Magomo with the responsibility of finding touch. The thing that Uganda needs to do at this time is try to find as much territory as possible in the Zimbabwean half and then force the pressure from there. You would rather defend from the Zimbabwean half than have all the pressure piled on in your own half.
Yeah, that's a very strong point you make there, Ruben. You look at the way Uganda are playing in this first half, and you can see that something is really yet to click in their game.
Yeah, and the fans have been stunned a little bit. Not as vocal as they were at the beginning, but perhaps they will weather that storm. Yeah, ball not straight at the line out there.
So it's
yeah, Faraji Odugo, it's going to be advantage Zimbabwe. These are the kind of mistakes you can't afford at such a point. You need your set piece to be right. We have just seen a scrum that was decimated. We have just seen now a line out that doesn't go straight. When you're trailing 12-0, you can't afford that. Yes, we see Julius Opio seems to be in shirt number 5.
Yeah, he took over the role of Elfaz Zemong.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think there were some late changes there because I'm seeing. Was it a substitution or was it a case of?
I think it was a late change.
Late change.
Because the lineup that they had released had Elfaz Zemong in shirt number 5. So, of course, his experience also would have come in handy. Now, Julius Opio is one of those new entrants to the team. And again, Zimbabwe, good tackle there to try and stop Sigauke. But they still have the ball, and there's a knock-on this time. Or will play revert to the earlier incident.
It's interesting because from the previous phase, the referee had said ball had gone back, and he's trying to explain that right now as we're seeing a bit of repair of the turf. But interestingly, he has called it back. I think maybe after consultation with the assistant referee, he finally said that the ball was knocked forward by Zimbabwe. But before, he seemed to have been okay with it, as we're seeing some early warm-ups there. Alex Aturinda, one of the Uganda Sevens guys that is coming into the fray for the 15s, and Paul Kalonji, a potential debutant for today at scrum half.
Well, you don't think that Team Uganda are having problems at scrum half yet?
I don't think so. I just think there's need to have alignment in how ball is being managed and how the forwards really want to play. It doesn't look like there's clear structure on how the forwards are playing.
Sidney Gongodio trying to battle his way and keeps hold of the ball, but then the ball is lost.
Yeah, tackler not releasing.
Yeah, so it's still ball to Team Uganda, so it's a penalty to Team Uganda.
Yeah, it's the third time that the Zimbabweans are not releasing, and the referee seems to be letting it go. It could be a case of slowing down the play, and perhaps that's something that they need to address.
Philip Wokoraj decides to go for territory instead of going for poles. A bit of a distance for him to try and go for the pole, so it's going to be a line out for Team Uganda. Philip Wokoraj trying to speak to his teammates, I guess, trying to reorganize them.
Recently just joined Rugby Club Orleans in France after playing for ASBC for 3 years.
Julius Opio picks it up for Team Uganda. Good play by Sidney Gongodio. Team Uganda on the ground. As there's a real hustle play there by Zimbabwe, but then there's a knock-on by Zimbabwe, so it's more to Team Uganda. Uganda proceed with play. Good act there at the breakdown, and now Julius Opio. And they're continuing, Sydney Gongodio. I guess this is possibly the best phase that we've seen Uganda try to carry the ball, as now Byron Oketayot held back in his tracks. Good play by Conrad, finds Senteza, and then the captain, and then there's a knock-on as Zimbabwe will gain advantage, and they'll continue with the play as they put pressure. And it's now Sigaduwe there, picks it up, tries to break the line, and at the breakdown, Zimbabwe still pick it up, continue with the flow, and this time is a tackle made there by Asuman Mugera of Team Uganda, but Zimbabwe continue. Mudariki, they are getting ever closer, and that looks like a knock-on.
Yeah, those are two particularly interesting incidents. You could say there that Shakim Sembusi of Uganda intentionally obstructed that ball's trajectory, which could be a yellow card offense, but depends on what the referee has to say. And then this side, Asuman Mugera with a no-hands tackle on the Zimbabwean player, which was very, very dangerous. Another one that could perhaps...
out in a yellow card.
Yes, and you can see there Hilton Mudariki is lobbying, but the referee choosing not to give out cards yet. But this is a perfect opportunity for Zimbabwe to add some points. But Ian Pryor chooses this time to go for the line out.
Instead of going for the poles.
Yes.
Now that's some confidence being shown by the Zimbabweans here.
You know, sometimes I think it's a case of momentum, and I feel like the Zimbabweans have sensed that they have the momentum at the moment. Uganda have their backs at the wall, so that means this is a chance for them to strike and see if they can get the points. But you can see that's perhaps a last warning from Ivan Magomu, from the referee to Ivan Magomu to talk to his senior player, Asuman Mugera, about dangerous tackling.
Asuman Mugera, a former captain of the Rugby Cranes, and a good line out by Zimbabwe. They've got the ball and pushing Uganda back at the maul here. They're getting ever closer to the try line. They want to make it a third try of the game, and the referee,
yeah, again not supporting
not
supporting the body weight yet again, and Uganda getting the turnover there and having a penalty, a chance for them to exit, to clear their lines. Philip Okorach wanted to try and start quick, but the referee didn't want to have any to do with that.
14 minutes to play in this first half. Philip Okorach to go for touch here. Hoping that the ball goes out. Well, it doesn't. Still, Ian Pryor picks it up for Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe come again. As Tino Tenda Mavesere picks it up again. They do well at the breakdown, but then there's a knock-on, so it's ball to Uganda. Moses Ziwa applauds his teammates for the work done there. Shot number 6 for Uganda. But I guess still too early to be applauding when you're still trailing by this real sizable lead that has been created by Team Zimbabwe.
Yeah, the youngster Moses Ziwa has been given a lot of responsibility in this back row, but they are showing his tackle and the follow-up to make sure that he disrupts the ball and removes it from the Zimbabwean player's hands.
It's going to be scrum down here for Team Uganda.
But I think the size is evident, the size disparity between the Zimbabweans and the Ugandans.
On the front row.
Yeah, it's very, very evident. You can feel it in the ball carries, you can see it at scrum time, and that's a free kick. And Conrad Wanyama tried to go very quickly.
And the small man seems to be using all the tenacity that he has to gain territory.
Conrad needs to calm down there.
Trying to size himself up against Mudariki. And I like the reaction of Mudariki saying, trying to ask him, what's going on? Relax.
And you can see again now they're talking to him like, sir, please calm down. It's just rugby.
Oh yeah, he's a very aggressive player. Don't let his size fool you. He would lift a tractor, that man there. That is Conrad Wanyama, shot number 9.
So decision time here. It's of course close to the center line. Do you go for the big boots? It seems like they're going to go for the tap and go. Farachi Odugo leading it. Uganda choosing not to go for the line out. Very interesting. Is it because they're not trusting their line out very much, but still
turn over the ball? So much inconsistent play from Team Uganda, definitely. Ian Pryor for Zimbabwe now has it. Finds Tino Tenda. Good play there by Brandon Mutsekenjenzi. Again, Zimbabwe gaining territory, making those very good and heavy runs into Uganda's 10 there. And again, on the outside, Zimbabwe gaining territory. They still find each other quite smartly here. But Uganda holding 40 here, at least for now. And then there's a tackle there coming in from Julius Opio. And that will definitely be a yellow card.
Yeah, there's a card on this one. Dangerous play there by Julius Opio. Really, really unexpected. Shouldn't have been a decision he made, but he's a youngster, he's learning, and this is going to be a harsh lesson.
Well, this is really disaster for Team Uganda. You're already down by 12 points, and then you get a man sin binned. Clearly, that is problems for Uganda.
Yeah, definitely. That now, the numerical disadvantage, especially at scrum time, and at the line out, losing an option, a jumping option, is something that is very
detrimental to the cause.
Yeah, but you see, I do support in regards to welfare the direction that the referee is taking. Those no hands tackles can perhaps break the player's ankle.
Yeah, definitely. With 10 minutes left in this first half, that means that we're likely to see Julius Opio make any more contribution in this first half. And as far as Zimbabwe are concerned, they will be happy about that as they go for a line out. That is Team Zimbabwe. And the plan, like definitely we've seen before, is to throw that ball in and get to dominate the maul and push Uganda over that try line and get that try. And hope that they can go into that halftime with at least 17 points to their name. Zimbabwe with the line out here, and they executed quite well as
exactly, brilliant defensive play there by Uganda, choosing not to contest at the maul. They just stood and watched it. That means that the player that received and fed the ball backwards turned it into an obstruction. Ball advantage goes back to Uganda.
That was intelligent play.
Very smart.
Very good play there by Team Uganda, at least to keep Zimbabwe at bay for now.
Yeah, but they know very well that they need to get some points on board. It's 12-0, and we're coming to the eve of the first half. Though they need to get some points on board to really ignite their ascendancy.
To try and breathe life into their prospects anyway. 12-0 going into the break is not good reading by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think that they've had a chance. I don't remember them really getting into Zimbabwe's 22 long enough. Byron Oketayot trying to break lines here, but then he's held up in a chokehold. And here Zimbabwe will be hoping that they can turn over the ball from Byron Oketayot.
And they do. Byron choosing to stay high in the tackle. But then again, after some very unsportsmanlike activities there was a penalty turnover. So that means from what had the advantage that had been given to Zimbabwe, it was reversed and this time given to Uganda. Very, very childish, you should say.
Lots of concentration, you could say, yeah.
I mean, you have held Byron Oketayot up, then you're pushing his head and you're mocking him.
Yeah.
And the referee was very, very well positioned to see that.
And then he reverses his decision. So what should have been a penalty to Zimbabwe is changed in favor of Uganda now.
Yeah, but then again, Uganda has taken a few paces and they have lost the ball. Again. So it's a case of Uganda is not trying to help themselves at the moment.
Absolutely. With 7 minutes left in this first half, that has been dominated by Team Zimbabwe.
I can't remember the last time we were in the Zimbabwe half.
Yeah, that's true. But I'll tell you something, that the Zimbabwe team will take some beating, and for Uganda to get back in the second half and turn this around will be a really big test of their fortitude here, but also their mental strength. It's now Uganda gets the ball. Barnett in support for Zimbabwe. Mudariki, the captain. He finds, of course, Cleophas Kondioma. Zimbabwe doing well at the breakdown, and then on the far side, they find Sigawuke Edward trying to get another try before the end of the half. And then goes up by favor of Team Uganda.
Yeah, yet again there, a turnover. Zimbabwe, always when they reach that final part, they seem to mess up. Philip Okoraч getting the chance to exit.
Trying to get into the Zimbabwe territory for Team Uganda. Just don't go far enough. It's going to be a line out for Raji or Dugo to get the ball in. This time it's knock on there by Zimbabwe earlier on.
Yeah, scrappy line out there, and then a knock on by Ivan Magomo.
Yeah, but I thought that the first one came from Zimbabwe.
Yeah, you could actually argue that. That's a good point. Let's wait and see what the referee says.
Because during the line-out contest, the Zimbabwe player just pushed the ball forward before Ivan Magomo, as he tried to receive it on the ground, gave it that extra touch.
Yes, I do think it is advantage Uganda. It's going to be a scrum to Uganda, but their set piece seems very, very shaky. They're not getting the most comfortable balls, whether it is at scrum time or at line-out, so they need to clean that up very quick. Especially now when they're at a yellow card, it is really struggling.
Yeah, some real battle that they have on their hands with the 14 players. They're gonna pick it up now. Byron Oketayot, normally a good ball carrier.
And the turnover is good there by Zimbabwe.
So Uganda just not doing well on the breakdown. Just look at that. The man with the tinted hair trying to give Conrad Wanyama a few lessons on physicality here.
Yeah, but Uganda is being very slow in their support.
Yeah.
All the ball carriers. Every time the player goes down, it's Zimbabweans that are fast on that ruck. And we have had a couple of turnovers come from that particular instance. I mean, we have seen a strategy change there where it is, as you can see, Conrad Wanyama, never shy, but this time trying to not be part of the scuffle, telling the referee, I'm innocent in this one.
It's penalty to Zimbabwe.
Yeah, after 2 unsuccessful visits, Ian Pryor chooses to go for the penalty.
This time it's in. It's now 15-0.
15 to Zimbabwe. Uganda yet to put in the points. Uganda seems not to be playing well on the territory piece. They are unable to get good territory. Uganda is also unable to really protect its ball, and the carriers are not really getting front ball or forward foot.
Yeah.
They're not going past the gain line, which is a big worry. How can they be able to stretch this very aggressive Zimbabwean defense?
How do you change it around, Ruben? Because these are the players you have, and clearly they are not looking aggressive enough in support, especially on the breakdowns like we've seen for much of the first half, because there have been quite a number of turnovers. But how do you change it around?
I think first and foremost, you need to play territory better. You need to kick deep so that you play in Zimbabwe's half. Secondly, don't try to play their game. They are clearly bigger in size. So don't try to run at them all the time. Try to run into the spaces and try to stretch them. We have barely seen the backliners play. Give them a chance to use the ball a lot more. Let us see what they can do. Stretch the pitch. And when you do that, the big boys get tired. So we need to stretch them out. We need to make them work. We are working in a very small zone in the middle of the pitch, and that can't be the way we're going to beat Zimbabwe.
2 minutes to the end of the first half. Team Zimbabwe leading Uganda 15-0. Not what the doctor ordered, especially for the home fans who were expecting a lot more from their side. But it's not looking good at all.
There's a lot of play time, so Rugby is
Zimbabwe doing well on this scrum down here, pushing back. I guess like Ruben pointed out a short while ago, the weight of the Zimbabwe's front row is really dominating Uganda here.
Not sure if it will be the case, but I suspect some changes in the front row at halftime. Seems like there is, in a case of technique, the Zimbabweans have outmatched the Rugby Cranes.
Who do you bring off? Who do you bring on?
It's interesting to see. Of course, combinations are very important as well, but one may look at maybe also changing at hook, and you bring in a heavier Nathan Bwambale for a lighter Faraji Odugo, make that switch, or perhaps Saul Kivumbi, the Cobs Rugby Club player, and see if maybe he can come in and try to steady the scrum.
So you take off Asuman Gerwa?
Perhaps. But you also need his experience, so it's a tricky situation.
Quite interesting job that the coach has there. That's Mudola. Good play there by Zimbabwe. Shot number 13 breaks the line, Sekut, and he gets in, and it's another try. This time it's completed with by the man with the tint. That's Mutsekenzi Brandon of Zimbabwe, and it is now 20. Now this is standing out into annihilation for Team Uganda. Ruben.
Okay, this is not looking pretty at all, but that is big carry there.
That's Kutsai, actually, Mashawi, shot number 12. The man with the tint. That was a very big carry, but most importantly, a very big try at a very critical point in this game.
Yeah, he first dropped our open side flanker, Byron Oketayot, who is one of the Ugandan enforcers, already sending a message that no one is going to tackle me, and then he goes on to carry an extra few meters before the try is scored. But what intensity that Zimbabwe is bringing in everything that they do, and really at this point putting up a very big gap. Uganda needs to put in a colossal effort to really come back in this game, but surely halftime is going to have changes.
Uganda's defensive approach, Ruben, has looked quite feeble, and I'm sure that for many that are watching this game will point that out.
Yeah, many I'm sure will not be happy about that. The defense has been very loopy, I should say. Many missed tackles, and it is something that really has come to hurt them a lot. Zimbabwe with 20 points, and Ian Pryor, can he add the extras? He hits the...
Oh yes, it's in. That's 22.
Yes, it goes in off the bar. Interesting. That is 22 now. 22, but you can see Ian Pryor with the kick off the crossbar and in.
Well, interesting first half it has been, and especially for the Zimbabwe fans down in Harare, must be enjoying this game as something that they've made a good hunting ground. That is Uganda. They continue. That is Zimbabwe. They normally win when they come down to Kampala, and they are continuing on that same trajectory. And at halftime, Zimbabwe lead Uganda 22-0. It is going to be a Herculean task for Team Uganda, who have really struggled in the first half. Well, we are just going to witness the opening ceremony. I'm reliably informed here, as there's going to be some bit of entertainment as the two teams return to the locker rooms for their halftime relief and talk. For Uganda, definitely a lot of work to be done by the coaching staff to try and change the tide, but also improve the fortunes of this side. You just wonder how timely this opening ceremony will be, especially for the fans of the losing side, who are the most on this ground anyway. I
was wondering if they're going to be in party mode at this halftime interval, knowing that their side is trailing 22-0. But hey, the one thing about Ugandans that we do know is they love a good party.
Well, what are the chances, Ruben, as the entertainment storms the ground, that we're going to have Uganda really waking up from their slumber and turning this game on its head, Ruben?
Yeah, I think it has to be a case of intent. They have to come out all guns blazing in the second half. They have to ideally score the first set of points in the second half for them to have that realistic chance. You can't let Zimbabwe come in the second half and then they are the ones to score first. You can't allow that, especially on home ground.
Well, the entertainers are getting set for the opening ceremony. So we're going to take a short break, but let you watch whatever kind of entertainment that they have prepared for us here at the Mandela National Stadium in Namboole.
Hey Uganda, hey Uganda, hey Uganda, hey Uganda, Wakusabata yoya.
Show me every possibility. Others can plenty, others no opportunity. Show me the way how to live out a calamity. Show me the way how to live better, to live better. Nipate maisha mazuri, watoto wasome vizuri, wapate chakula nzuri. Nipate maisha mazuri, watoto wasome vizuri, wapate chakula nzuri. Kama hakuta kipete Kenyatta Kabila Kagame wale wale. Wale wale. Kuna wale wale walishanikiwa na Mungu wale. Wale wale. Wale wale walishapenda zaidi yule yule. Wale wale. Wale wale. Wale wale. Wale wanala nini? Wale walikupa nini? Wote tunasoma dini. Tajiri na masikini. Tell me the way how you maintain your ability. You're lucky to have plenty, others in insanity.
Ladies and gentlemen, the job is clear. 23 points in the second half. They will lead each and every one of you go. Please stretch and get ready to open your wraps. Rod wire for you.
La la la, Sisikan I'm a GYM. We end up okay, I am. Got money on me LTM. Got fans, got dollar, got yen. Over down money, money. No to want to see the way. But what you gonna pay you? Money back to 1 year, how we got it. The two back with their own game. We show them how to raise them. How, what, why, when. Let's see. Smart boy, 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 smart let's see what you're gonna speak, you're gonna think. This my girl, you know, on the way.
Zimbabwe have bossed the contest, they have bossed the set pieces. But Uganda have tried to put up a contest at the breakdown, getting those turnovers, getting those calls for the crocodile rolls. But the question now for Uganda is how do they make use of these 40 minutes that they have? They trail by 22 points to nil. Two things will come in mind. One, how they can turn this size disadvantage
Welcome
against
back
them,
to the Nelson
play
Mandela
out
Stadium
of
in
contact.
Namboole.
The second thing is how they can use this territory. The first half, they only had one visit into the Zimbabwe half. They will need to play a lot further ahead in the second half so that they can be able to put points on the board, make maximum use of the ball and territory, but most importantly, know that the size is against you, so you need to play into the spaces, you need to play smartly. The physical...
They must start now.
And it all starts with attitude. We have to see what kind of attitude they have come with in the second half. That should be an accidental offside, which could be a penalty. However, it seems that they're giving them a knock-on. It's going to be a scrum. Ivan Magomu trying to protest, but the referee's word is final.
No changes made, Ruben. A bit of a surprise?
I think I've seen a change, if I'm not mistaken. I think I've seen Joseph Aredo come. I think he's on at center. So Uganda will probably be utilizing that double playmaker axis of Ivan Magomu and Joseph Aredo. I think he has come on for Jones Kamiza.
Okay.
Yeah, because we barely saw anything from Jones Kamiza in that first half.
No, it actually could be Innocent Gokto.
Let's wait and confirm that for those that are watching, of course.
Innocent Gokto was the one playing at left side center. Kamiza is actually still there. So you feel that maybe it's an issue of playmaker being needed to try and support Ivan Magomu. Good breaking of the lines there by Timothy Kisiga. But again, Zimbabwe showing better reaction, but there is an arm race for a penalty to Uganda.
Yeah, but you can see the intent there, and you can see Joseph Aredo already in the thick of things, and he seems to be the first receiver, and Ivan Magomu is going out wide to see how to connect with his outside backs. But this is something that has been utilized before, and it works well. So let's see if it can work here as well. Is Philip calling for the T so that he can try and get some points for Uganda on board? I think that's a good decision. Not having any points on board, regardless of the fact that you're trailing by 22 points. Try to get something, change the fortune, change the mindset, change the feel of the game. And put something, when you put something on the board, it really motivates. Good to see Julius Opioso back in the fray, but hopefully if Eliphaz Emong is on the bench, then I would like to see a big ball carrier like him come onto the pitch to maybe create some impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Zimbabwe with some real quality shown in this first half, rather in the first half. And they continue to show the aggression even in the second half, not allowing Uganda much time on the ball. Philip Wokorach with the penalty. Yes, it's in.
Yeah, the crowd just tells you what they expected and they got it. And you can see his communication. Guys, we're still, in Uganda they say tubanja. We are still the ones that are owing. We need to pay our debts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12-3 it is. Gets Uganda its first points on the board. And that was very meticulously done by Philip Wokorach.
And yes, Philip Wokorach, even the last time that Uganda participated in the Rugby Africa Cup, he was their top-point scorer with 27 points. Interestingly, Hilton Mudariki on the other side was Zimbabwe's with 22 points.
That was in Marseille, France.
Yes, that was in 2022, yeah.
Conrad Wanyama. They play for territory. This is what you are calling for in the first half.
Yes.
The ball is well received by Mafura Tapiwa. Right there is Ian Pryor, and again Zimbabwe gaining territory. They seem to find it easy really breaking through the lines. That's something that you're talking about Uganda needing to improve. Zimbabwe keep the ball flowing here. Mapiwa, very good play there. It was a dummy here. Uganda coming hard and fast to try and stop him, and there's not releasing of the ball and ball to Uganda.
Good turnover by Shakim Sembusi and a quick
and
start
there's a knock-on by Faraj Odugo after receiving what was a very good pass from his captain. Clearly had to actually understand how he dropped that ball. Shot number 2, Faraj Odugo, and he keeps beating himself. You can see how disappointed he is in himself.
Yeah, I think sometimes you perhaps need to slow it down a little bit and play a little bit of more organized rugby. But if they had gotten that ball down, kicked the ball out for touch, maybe it would have been better. But you see, if it had worked out, we'd be praising them. So you really can't fault them. They have to take their chances as sportsmen.
It's going to be a scrum down for Team Zimbabwe. And Mudariki feeds it in. Gets it out fast and straight into Ugandan territory, straight into touch.
Yeah, we go back to the position where the player kicked from. He was trying to look for a 50-22 kick, but unfortunately it went straight out without bouncing on. So it's going to be a line out to Uganda. Rare mistake there by Zimbabwe. Interesting to note. But it gives Uganda an attacking platform now. First and foremost, can they win their line out? They can't, unfortunately.
It's well taken in by Zimbabwe this time. Continue to build up here, and it is, of course, the center there. It's a Kedzenzi. They turn over the ball now. Philip Wokorach breaks the lines. Is he going for the try line? And he makes the rest for it. And the speed match and he is, and he gets the drive for Uganda. That's the first one. And it is now 8:22. Game on.
And that is what Philip Wokorach does. The show and the go, and he has the legs to go all the way. That is the reason why he justifies the selection of Coach Fred Mudola, bring in the 7th players, their intensity, their tenacity, and their pace. But that was brilliant stuff from Philip Wokorach, the dummy, of course, and credit to Alex Mubir off the turnover, but look at that, pace. He looks at the defender chasing him and is like, you can't match me. And of course the fan just at the end, like, arm's distance, please. Beautiful stuff. Philip Wokorach flying his straight in France for RC Olin, scoring Uganda's first try. Could we see a miracle? Let's wait and see. This is very interesting, but it all started with Asuman Mugira rather, who turned over, and then from the counter, Zimbabwe wasn't ready.
Well, interesting how the coach Fred Mudola has kept faith with his side, only making one change, and the players seem to be repaying the faith back. If Philip Wokorach can convert, then that will mean that the gap has reduced to 12. Still a sizable lead that Zimbabwe has, but Uganda will feel that they have upped the ante, and they will definitely have their tails up.
Yes, definitely, and of course these extra points will be very important, and you can hear the crowd saying it's 10. So the deficit is back to 12 from 22. and anything is possible. Surely, whatever Coach Fred Budola and his coaches said at halftime, it is working, and the fans are back to life.
Well, Ruben, looking at how Uganda started in the first minutes of the second half, just what has changed? Is it just as simple as saying the attitude is better than the attitude they started with in the first half, or is it the general tactics of the game?
Of course, there's a tactical nuance there, but it all starts with attitude. You have to play. You're home. You have your fans watching you. You can't afford to give such a shambolic display as was shown in the first half.
Conrad Wanyama with a good kick up and finds Timothy Kisiga making the run in, but well received there by Tapiwa of Zimbabwe. It was a dummy, finds a space, and they're breaking the lines of Uganda's defense, and then the pass in, trying to find, of course, Takudzwa, but Uganda stops Zimbabwe in their tracks, and Suman Mugera picks it up. Good play by Team Uganda on defense to stop Kudzai Mashawi, and then another box kick up from Conrad Wanyama. Zimbabwe now have to build again. Tapiwa now for Zimbabwe. It was a dummy, just can't be tackled by Farajo Dugo. It seems to be running past Moses Ziwa as well. Good gaining of territory by Zimbabwe, and this is what really works in getting a team to have control of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Tapiwa Mafurawa there. Every time he gets the ball, he seems to just break the line, and it's his advantage supposed to be for Uganda. No advantage, so it's going to be a scrum, but it's just helter-skelter, a lot of things happening. And there Alex Aturinda is on the pitch
as well.
Yeah, so it's a full complement, but you can see even Joseph Oyet, who is on water boy duty today, just on tension, a lot of tension going across the board.
So Alex Aturinda coming in place of Sydney Gongodio, it appears.
Yeah, but there Byron Oketayota unable to gather that ball.
But again, you can still see that Uganda still looks a bit porous when on the back foot.
Yeah, man, the defense is something that is actually an eyesore to watch if you're a Ugandan fan. The ease with which Zimbabwe is penetrating is very, very worrying. And Zimbabwe is yet to make them punish to pay in this second half.
All Team Uganda in the scrimmage, and it is Conrad Wanyama. Finds Philip Wokorach, who's got Uganda all his points so far. Timothy Kisiga gaining territory. It's tackled, and it's a penalty to Zimbabwe.
Interestingly, Zimbabwe have a tactic that they're using in which they tackle you, and in a way you're very open for the next man to come and immediately go for the ball. So it is very easy for them. It is lightning quick the way they are approaching our rucks. I mean, you can see he tackles you to the side, and then the following man is already on top of you. So it's the man has already rolled away. By the time your person comes
in, you're holding onto the ball.
And that's what fascinating to watch. Brilliant,
that's what the referee
technique.
judges that Timothy Kisiga did not release. And in the end, it is a penalty to Zimbabwe. It's now a line out for Team Zimbabwe with 30 minutes to play, but all to play for. And Simba Mandioma throws the ball in for Team Zimbabwe. Doing quite well on the ruck, but the ball is turned over by Conrad Wanyama. Very tenacious, and it's well picked up by his club teammate, Ivan Magomu. And again, Uganda doing well on the ruck, and Conrad Wanyama makes the kick there to try.
That's a 50-22. Amazing kick by Conrad Wanyama from his own half, getting the box kick and kicking it into, and you can see what it means to the bench, celebrating that one. That means it's going to be a line out for Uganda inside the Zimbabwe 22-meter area.
Brilliant play by Conrad Wanyama there over Team Uganda. I guess if there's any player that you can pick out that has really shown heart and desire to win this game, it is definitely Conrad Wanyama.
I mean, on top of sheer ability, Conrad Wanyama always brings heart. He's a man that plays above, well above his size. A man with a very, very big heart, and you can see it from there, from all the things he's trying to do, even sometimes try to unnerve the opposition. But his ability and his character as a human being is so amazing to see.
Some good technique needed there, and well, Uganda, good tackle there coming in from Byron Oketayot.
Good turnover there. Chance for them to attack, feed the backliners. Innocent Gokto.
Picks it up again, and now it's Moses Ziwa.
Advantage to Uganda, but they need to be patient. Drop goal attempt from Ivan Magomu. Misses it, but they have the penalty to play for.
It was an offside.
Offside, not back foot by the Zimbabweans. Number 8 is being called out, but you can see the drop goal just going to the right.
Comes very close. Penalty.
Yeah, decisions, very important. Do you go for the line out or do you go for points? Philip Okorach looks to be going for the points. And you can see former
Rugby Cranes player.
Yeah, Alex Mubiru, but also part of the team now. Forwards coach, communicating to the boys, telling them talk, attitude, aggression, intensity.
Should they have gone for the line out here?
I think there's still a lot of time. The penalty is a better decision. It's a more sure decision. Take the penalty, make it 13. You've cut down the points and then come
to
back.
9.
Yeah, because they're still going to, you're going to kick to them and you're going to kick deep.
It's turning out to be a game of two halves. Zimbabwe shedding it, or actually dominating it in the first half. And now Uganda are the only team that has scored points in the second half, and they're about to make it 13 in record time. And they do.
Yeah, Philip Okorach usually doesn't make mistakes from there. That is why he's very dependable and he's the first choice kicker for the country. And you can see finally some smiles on the faces of the Uganda fans. A few Zimbabweans as well in there celebrating.
Yeah, but of course I'm sure that they must be feeling the pressure now.
Yeah,
which wasn't the case at the tail end of the first half.
That's the enigma that is rugby. You seem to be in a comfortable situation, then all of a sudden you're in panic mode.
And now Alex Aturinda using all his muscle there to hold on to the ball. The scrum, rather at the line, at the breakdown, Uganda and Zimbabwe, real tight contest for Ajo Dugo. Uganda doing well enough this time on the
Zimbabwean tacklers not rolling away early enough, trying to employ their same tactic, but this time round the Ugandans counter it with an even more cunning strategy. Yeah, sometimes when the tackler is there, you hold him in there for a few seconds to buy or to milk the penalty, I should say.
And they actually get the penalty, but you don't think they're going to be going for poles there.
No.
Instead, go for touch here.
Yeah, you go for touch because you're trying to get some more meters inside the Zimbabwean half. That is the strategy that Uganda is going to be going for. Get as much territory as possible close to the Zimbabwean goalposts. Maybe go for the points. You have a kicker that is on form, and if they are ready to be struck, then go for the try.
Line out Team Uganda for Rajo Dugo to throw the ball in here. Very well taken by Uhuru. Gains a bit of territory here. Picked up there by Conrad Wanyama. And very good dummy there by the man Joseph Aredo.
Aiden Burnett does not buy the dummy, sends him back.
The pass there to find Timothy Kisiga. Good play there by Ivan Magomu, and good application by Uganda at the breakdown there. Conrad Wanyama finds his club teammate there, Alex Aturinda. And then there is a knock-on by Zimbabwe.
Yeah, Zimbabwe with a knock-on there, being a little over-eager to try and get the turnover. As we have been talking about how quick they are at the ruck, but this time they knock on. A very interesting coordination there between Ivan Magomo and Timothy Kisiga. For those that watch the local rugby, you have seen that happen before, the chip kick, and then Timothy Kisiga gathers.
Santos centers, Gerasman and Farajo Dugo continue to do the job as the forwards here. But you get a feeling that any time from now, one or two of them will be withdrawn to bring in some fresh legs.
Yeah, definitely. So for these next few minutes, they really need to do the job and do it well. Give their all. Good. Better scrum than the first half. Alex Aturinda carries hard, carrying better.
Very good ball carrier he is. Conrad Wanyama finds Uhuru, gains a bit of territory. Maybe small inches, but they make a difference. Conrad Wanyama trying to break the lines here. Captain, or rather Ivan Magomo it was. And Zimbabwe really holding their own as well.
Uganda has advantage for an infringement. Another goal, drop goal opportunity. This time it goes low, but it's a chance for them to perhaps go for another 3 points. And a yellow card has been given. We're yet to confirm who it is. But a case of perhaps repeated infringement, and the referee has had enough.
So it's going to be penalty for Team Uganda, an opportunity to bring the scoreline to just within 6 points.
It's amazing how sport works. It's so amazing how sport works. And Philip Okorach, you can see they're just getting a little bit of hydration so that he can have oxygen move to his brain and align his focus. Very, very crucial points.
Yeah, we need a confirmation, the shot number of the player that has been yellow carded. Zimbabwe now to 14 players. And Philip Okorach. Oh, he misses that.
Yeah.
There was no cheer.
Finally, we know that Philip Okorach is human.
After all. And he beats himself. He knows what a big opportunity that was. Because that ball was in a very, very inviting position. That should have been splitting the poles. It would have been 16-22 now, and that would mean 6-point difference.
Yeah, but the great thing about that is that they still kick back to Uganda, so they get an opportunity to carry back. Received by Shakim Sembusi there.
Shakim Sembusi. It's that ball carry to Uhuru. Team Uganda. Conrad Wanyama. Finds Julius Opio. Blocked by a teammate. Julius Opio continues to gain some bit of momentum here. Conrad Wanyama again. Finds Ivan Magomo, Asuman Mugerwa. The player injured on the ground, a Zimbabwe player. And they pass by Ivan Magomo to get Timothy. Actually, it was Innocent Gokto instead. Farajo Dugo.
Advantage for Uganda. Hands in rack. And Philip Okorach with a quick start, looking to do his usual steps. And that's what Philip Okorach does.
Good play there, Timothy Kisiga on the far side. Alex Aturinda using his muscle. He's getting ever closer. Can he get Uganda a much-needed try here? Zimbabwe holding fort as well. Asuman Mugerwa, the big man. And it is a try, or is it?
No, it's a
turnover. Not yet. It's a turnover of the ball.
Turnover.
It's a penalty to...
Yeah, Suman Mugerwa with a pick and drive, but he picked and he was carrying by himself. On the pick and drive, you usually tag yourself with someone else who's going to cover you as quick as possible. Remember, you're closer to the line, and the defense is very, very aggressive. They should have read that properly, unfortunately.
Another gilt-edged opportunity for Team Uganda that is lost within thin air. And you definitely one that they're going to rule. That's if you look at the fact that they missed the penalty and now another try opportunity is lost. Those are 8 points lost. Clearly, if they had those in the bag, then they would definitely be 1 point behind Zimbabwe now.
Yeah, definitely. You hope that the home side does not rule such chances later on in the game. I mean, a penalty missed and a potential scoring opportunity for a 5-pointer. You need to take those points. Zimbabwe was lethal in the first half. You need to be lethal in the second half if you want to compete.
For the benefit of our viewers, Ruben, just kindly explain what happened at that moment when Asuman Mugerwa was trying to get over the try line.
Yeah, definitely, of course, it was after some good phases from Uganda. But then on the pick and drive, he goes down and then unfortunately, he has no support player, and we have been talking about this the whole time. The urgency at which the Zimbabweans go at the breakdown, and then there was a turnover there.
thing is that you can't go down and then pick it up again. So in the end,
and he tried to force it. So it actually could also have been a case of double movement. Once you're on the ground, present the ball so that you allow play to continue.
Exactly.
You do not try to force your hand and stretch a second time after you have gone down.
Prince Wasaja clearly not in the happiest of moods here as the Rugby Cranes continue to trail. One of the big fans of Ugandan rugby.
Yeah, one of the patrons of the sport.
And with just about 19 minutes to play. Still enough time. Although, like you said, as of course the look on Ambrose Tashevia, the chairman of the National Council of Sports as well, is clearly one of disappointment.
Everyone is
on the edge.
At the edge of their seats at the moment, especially if you are supporting Uganda. Even the Zimbabweans are not comfortable, I'm sure, whether they are watching online or whether they are watching at the grounds.
But I guess if you're Team Uganda, what is gone is gone. You just have to pick yourselves up again.
Yeah, definitely. But these next few minutes are going to be very crucial. Zimbabwe, if they need to win this, they know that they need to put points on board. Uganda as well needs to, if they score one more try, then surely I think momentum would have fully swung into Uganda's favor. Some changes there for Zimbabwe.
Good still on the line out. Alex Aturinda carries the ball into Zimbabwe's 22. And then it's a penalty to Zimbabwe. Uganda, while on the ground, I think Alex Aturinda just did not release the ball.
Yeah, they're just trying to buy a few moments there as his team was tracking back. Joseph Aredo.
Costly mistakes, Ruben.
Yeah, but again, we talked about that strategy that Zimbabwe is using at the tackle, where they tackle you to the side and then the next man is already waiting to make the jackal or the turnover. And these are things that are trained during the training session. So perhaps Uganda needs to find a counter for that, especially with the training sessions that are to come in the future.
The line out for Team Zimbabwe. They lost the last one. This time they're not about to do that. As Zimbabwe make a change, as Liam Lakan is introduced, shot number 17. Philip Okorach picks the ball up in the air. It's now in the hands of and control of Uganda's Conrad Wanyama. Sizes up his options, decides to kick it out with his left boot.
Interesting that he kicks with both feet.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, of course, that's a rare skill.
And that's a 50-22 there for Zimbabwe in response. Big kick there. Zimbabwe getting the opportunity to throw now inside Uganda's 22. It's been a minute since they had visited this part of the pitch.
Liam Lakan with the ball in hand to execute the line out. I don't remember the last time that Zimbabwe got into Uganda's 22, particularly in this second half. This is the first time that we're seeing them do it. 16 minutes left to play. 22-13 the scoreline is. Zimbabwe win the line out. Doesn't seem like it's infringement by Team Uganda, so it's ball to Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe is looking to kill off this game. They say they have chosen to go for the line out
instead of the penalty.
Yeah, and
rather for pause, rather.
They want to maul this one and see if they can get a 5-point and maybe 7 points. But this game is promising to be another high-scoring one. As of course, Liam Lakan is going to try and attempt to throw.
Zimbabwe do a good job on the line out. Now trying to force their way over the try line, but Uganda's centers are Santos holding for, and there's a knock on there, definitely.
Knock on by Liam Lakan. Unfortunate and too ambitious. That's a get out of jail card there for Uganda. Now their next assignment will be how do they get proper territory back in Zimbabwe's half. Of because this particular fixture, like I was saying, is usually a very high-scoring encounter. 6 of the last 7 encounters between the two nations have yielded an aggregate of 50 points in total. The July 2011 Victoria Cup encounter in Bulawayo was the highest-scoring game, as 70 points were total in a 49-21 Zimbabwe win. 49-21. Wow. So they normally have a lot of scores in this particular encounter. These two teams are very, very familiar with one another, and they always take the game to one another.
And it's normally a very open game, like we've already seen in the encounter this afternoon. Or is it this evening? I beg your pardon.
Everyone with interest in Uganda really needs to hope that this scrum goes well for them so that they can exit.
Good carry there by Alex Atulinda. As Uganda trying to make sure that they get this ball out in this breakdown.
Conrad Wanyama choosing to go for the box kick and getting some few meters outside the 22-meter mark. That's safer than where they were previously.
Oh, absolutely.
He's one of those that did travel to South Africa for a 3 months intensive camp, and you can see he has been working on his box kick. It's not been a tactic that has been used a lot in Uganda, the box kick, but you can see adopting some of the South African strategy in our game.
Yeah. Good play there by Team Uganda's Ivan Magomo. Keeps a good hold of the ball. It's penalty to Team Uganda.
Hands in rack there by the Zimbabwean, and it's going to be a penalty to Zimbabwe. To Uganda. Philip Okorach with a big boot is going to try and get some good touch to see if they can get back into the Zimbabwean half. Big kick there by Philip Okorach, just close to the 22-meter mark, now inside the Zimbabwean half. It's a game of chess, really, trying to see that you get as much territory as possible. Then when you have the territory, how do you make the checkmate?
Yeah, exactly. And with the clock ticking down, every second is of the essence here. It's Farajo Dugo is about to throw the ball in. Well picked up by Julius Opio, Conrad Wanyama. And you could see what Joseph Aredo did, just letting the ball go past him. Otherwise, could have committed a knock-on here.
Yeah, good awareness from him.
And again, a very good run here, coming in by, of course, the man here, Philip Okorach, and he finds his little brother, Innocent Gokto, and it is a try for Team Uganda. Unbelievable play here by Team Uganda.
And that is a try made in the Nakawa quarters. Big brother passes to little brother. Philip Okorach to Innocent Gokto on the support line. Great awareness from Innocent Gokto to support his big brother, knowing that all the defenders were on Philip. And you can just see the cut back in. Philip Okorach, knowing he's going to get tackled, passes to his little brother. I mean, who wouldn't want to play with his sibling? And what a special moment. Two brothers creating a magical moment.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely. And it appears like the conversion is good. And it's now just the 20-point mark that Uganda is at, trailing by 2. Now, clearly, it is game on, Ruben.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a game. And you can see there, Philip not making a mistake from very close, getting the extra points to make it 22-20, 2-point game. That is what they call a response.
Well,
that is what they call a response.
10 minutes to play. And now Zimbabwe have their backs against the wall, while Uganda have their tails up right now. As the ball is well picked up by Uganda. And right at the breakdown, they get good control of it here at the rack. Conrad Wanyama, guess by many counts could probably be one of Uganda's best players today, with a good kick there, but ball picked up by Zimbabwe. Uganda also really making sure that they put pressure on the Zimbabwe side. That's Brian Nyaunde of Zimbabwe. Finds his captain Mudakiri. And then it's Tapiwa breaking the lines of Uganda for Team Zimbabwe. Somehow they're getting some renewed energy. I guess realizing that Uganda is right within the breadth of their space. They've definitely got to try and raise their game as well. And then Zimbabwe again, very good sharing of the ball, but then the whistle goes. Guess there was a forward pass.
Forward pass. I've never seen a forward pass call met with so much celebration like it was a try. And that is how the Ugandan fans are celebrating everything that is pro-Uganda at the moment. But there you can see Uganda still being called into question. There's a need for change, I think, of footwear there for Santos Centers. But it seems like Coach Fred is banking with his original front rowers.
Yeah, it's surprising to see
play
that.
All the way.
Exactly. Well, I remember in the season that the Pirates won the championship, that was in 2023. The coach of Pirates, Marvin Odong, was by and large using the same front three throughout.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not a usual thing, by the way.
It's not a usual thing, but you have to have very fit front rowers to play a kind of game like that.
Yeah, and I guess you've got to give credit to Faraji Odugo and his colleagues Asuman Mugera and Santos Centers. Just wonder how much rugby Santos Centers plays in a year, because he's a mainstay for his club and he's a mainstay for the national team as well.
I mean, his club, the Heathens, just won a record 17th title, making them, of course, the premier club in the country. But then he now has to change immediately from the rugby championship in Uganda to focusing on national duty, and here he is performing. And of course, he was part of the team that went for the 3 months intensive training that was in South Africa. So a lot of rugby he has played in this first half of the year.
Well, the changes that were made at halftime, bringing on Alex Aturinda, being one of, and of course Joseph Aredo, how much do you feel that they've impacted on this game as far as Team Uganda is concerned?
I think the fluidity of Uganda's game is very evident now. Alex Aturinda is carrying and giving Uganda platform, go forward ball that they didn't have before. Joseph Aredo, like we said, is now in a two-pronged playmaker role with Ivan Magomu, so he's keeping the Zimbabwean defense honest, and that is something that Jones Kamiza in the first half was not adding, and that's, I think, credit to the coaches and what they've had to bring to the table.
Changes that make a difference, and that's exactly what Alex Aturinda, Joseph Aredo have brought to this game. Letting the team breathe. Conrad Wanyama kicking for territory. This time goes straight into touch.
Oh, such mistakes are not something you really want to have at this point in the game.
It's going to be a line out for Zimbabwe right in Uganda's 10.
Back where he kicked from. Conrad Wanyama. I don't think the coach has any plans of making changes at scrum half in that regard.
Yeah, not at this time. I don't think that he would take off the more experienced Conrad Wanyama at this point.
Yeah, because Paul Kalunji would be making his debut, but I don't think he's going to make it today unless something happens.
And
ball lost there by Zimbabwe, but the line out also was not straight.
Faraji Odugo doing a good job there at keeping ball. And then ball played forward by the captain Ivan Magoma, hoping that maybe Sembusi would make the run in. And the tackle there on Tapiwa of Zimbabwe.
The medical running onto the pitch. I think someone is in critical condition.
That was Tapiwa who was tackled.
Tapiwa Mafura has been a problem all game. One of Zimbabwe's better players, as you can see. He went in and did he collide with Byron Okitayot's shoulder?
Oh, it's something like that. But it's penalty to Zimbabwe for
Robert Aziko of Uganda not supporting his body weight, and this is an opportunity for Ian Pryor to perhaps add a little bit of points on the board and see if it can see them all the way. I mean, it's still not safe, even if he scored that one, to just take it to 5 points, but
yeah, it makes a difference.
It makes a difference.
But by and large, it's been a game of two halves. Uganda really dominant in the second half. Zimbabwe scored all their points in the first half. But can Ian Pryor get them their first points of the second half with the boot? Ian Pryor gets himself set here as the boos ring out from the crowd here. Inevitably, that's what you expect from the home crowd, isn't it, Ruben?
Yeah, definitely. Trying to get him off his game and off his focus. Let's see if it works.
And it does.
It has worked, and that is what the 16th man does, or the 16th player does. And the fans have done their role.
And a kick by Philip Okorati, but the ball picked up by Tapiwa. Very good play there by Tapiwa. And the way he just breaks the lines. Tapiwa gains territory for Zimbabwe. And he finds his mate here. That's Brian Gaude.
Tapiwa Mafura is such a player. Wow.
The fact that he cannot easily be tackled is really surprising. Uganda is now Barnett. Zimbabwe coming again. Trying to find the spaces. They're getting ever closer to that try line. Big push there by Tinotenda rather. Mavesere, and then a tackle there on Mapiwa, and then ball is lost there. And then Ivan Magomu trying to find his mate, and
there's going to be a yellow card there for an intentional obstruction of a pass.
Yeah.
That could have ideally led to about a 65-meter run for Philip Okorach, who I think could have done it, because that was very cynical and intentional, and you can see Ivan Magomu is not pleased at all. But that was going to Philip, my God.
And you can only imagine what would have happened. And Takudra Musingwini got Zimbabwe try in the first half, has just been seen now. Zimbabwe would definitely end the match with 14 men. And you don't think that they're going to make any other changes now to try and counter that setback. And now that should actually lift the spirits of Team Uganda, who have 5 minutes to play here, where both sides have 5 minutes. And Uganda will feel that they can go in the ascendancy, as now Nathan Bwambale has been introduced in place of Faraji Oduku. As of course Byron Oketayoti is also withdrawn. Yeah, he gets off.
And that must be Marco Moding, or that's Brian Wandera, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that should be Brian Wandera making his debut for Uganda. Ivan Magomu receiving. Good carry there.
Uganda now smell blood, and there's a knock-on. There is a knock-on.
But luckily enough, Uganda was playing advantage.
And it's by Jones. Actually, it was...
but that is Moses Ziwa.
Yeah.
The youngster who has been entrusted with a lot of responsibility by Coach Fred, from King's College Budo to Stambik Black Pirates. And this is, give or take, 53 meters just after the centimeter mark. Philip Okorach has called for it, as Joseph Aredo on this other side is getting some instructions from forwards coach
Alex
Mubiru. But Philip has called for the kicking tee.
This is quite a distance.
With 3 minutes to go, the kicking stance is going to take about 90 seconds, and he could easily put Uganda in the lead for the first time in this game. This is monumental. Does he have the direction? Does he have the distance? Direction, yeah. Direction, no. Distance, yes.
Yeah, the distance was there, but ball also lacking a bit in elevation there.
But the advantage with that is now that Zimbabwe is panicking and they have kicked it out there, so it's still a line out for Uganda. Now all they need to do is have Nathan Bwambale throw well and coordinate with his jumper, and Uganda can have another attacking opportunity.
Shot 21 for Uganda. Mark Omoding is introduced as well. Well, I'm meant to understand that there was a change there, and it's actually Brian Wandera and now Innocent Gwokto got Uganda their last try to bring them to within 2 points of Zimbabwe. Alex Aturinda. Uganda doing well at the breakdown. Gomo. Philip Wokorach.
Wow, wow. Serving a little bit of furniture, or as it's called, stools.
Alex Aturinda.
Sending a message to the defender.
Oh.
Referee says ball was open, and it's Tafura.
Kicks for territory here.
Trying to get some extra space. Ball has gone straight out, but he was inside the 22-meter area. So it's interesting to see what the call is going to be. Was the ball taken back into the 22-meter area, then kicked out? If so, then you go back to where they kicked from, and that is exactly what has happened. And it's going to be a line-out for Uganda. I mean, the fates, the gods are really smiling at Uganda. Can Uganda take those chances?
Well, only time will tell. As
1 minute or so to go.
The pressure must be mounting on the fans here on either side. Zimbabwe leading by just 2 points.
At this point, anything could do. Ideally, if the Rugby Cranes won this line out, they could easily set up, and Ivan Magomu could even go for the drop goal. They don't have to struggle and try to go for the 5-point. As you can see, Jose Chameleon is here. They're playing his song. He's in the stand supporting the boys as well. But crucial moments for Uganda. Can they get the set piece right? Can they set up right and maybe get a penalty or go for the drop goal or maybe go for the 5-pointer? But whatever it takes, it is perhaps 80 minutes. Right now, we could be in last play.
And good play there to find Charles Uhuru. Picks it up quite well. Nathan Bwambale comes in to offer support. Conrad Wanyama. Alex Aturinda trying to gain territory here. But in a bit of a chokehold here, but Uganda still do well. The rock here.
Second line of attack.
Philip Wokorach keeps good hold of the ball. Zimbabwe are not relenting either. Lead by 2 points. Determined to hold on to it. Charles Uhuru goes down. Time is of the essence for the horse. Otherwise, a place in the semi-final is at risk of being lost.
The Zimbabweans are being disciplined not to try and milk and give out any penalties.
Conrad finds, of course, Ivan Magomo, and Sembusi is tackled right into touch, and the referee.
This could be final play as Shakim Sembusi is bundled into touch.
Budariki, the captain of Zimbabwe.
And the water has been sounded. That means
last play.
Last play.
The referee receiving some. Now it's ball to Zimbabwe.
Now all Zimbabwe needs to do is win their line out and kick the ball out, and they will be the winners. They lose their line out.
Still keep it on.
Still keep it. They will protect this one with their lives, and I think it's done and dusted at this point.
And that's exactly what they do. And of course, that marks the end of what has been a great encounter. Zimbabwe running out 22-20 winners over Uganda. Uganda definitely will feel outdone by the result. But make no mistake, it has been such an impressive performance by the two sides. And in many ways, it's going to be a hard loss to take, Ruben.
As you can see, Ivan Magomu is trying to deliberate something with the referee that he didn't agree with. But you can see the Ugandans are in disbelief. I personally thought that they should have gone for the slow ball and go for the drop goal. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Go for it. And Joseph Aredo is there just telling him, you know what, let's let it go. It has gone. Usually referees don't change their minds at such points.
Especially after the final.
And you can see inconsolable there was Charles Uhuru, but what a game of rugby we have watched.
Yeah, an interesting game of rugby. And of course, looking at how it had turned out in the first half, Zimbabwe leading 22-0, Uganda turning it on. I'm sure when they look back at those missed opportunities, the penalty, but also an opportunity for a try, the 8 points that were lost there, do you think that Uganda is going to be looking back at these moments and thinking this is where it was lost?
Yeah, definitely, of course, they'll rue the chances missed, but more importantly, they will rue a first half that was very, very poor by their standards.
Yeah.
You shouldn't let a game get to that point for you to have a mountain to climb. Uganda should have been in this game from the get-go, knowing that they are the home side, they have the home advantage, and they are playing for everything. Uganda did not start well, and Zimbabwe just did enough to see them through, although they also didn't have a very good second half.
Well, we hope that you've enjoyed this live broadcast coming to you live here at Namboole Stadium, and we hope that you've enjoyed the game, even as much as defeat will really hurt the home crowd. But at full time in this Rugby Africa Cup, at the quarter-final stage, Zimbabwe make it to the semi-final with a 22-20 win over Uganda.
A tough end to the day for the Uganda Rugby Cranes as they fall short by 2 points in that quarterfinal game against Zimbabwe. It was a game of two halves, as the commentators did get to put it out there. And it was one where, of course, it looked like it was all possible, especially at the death. Could it have been the missed kicks or something like that, that everyone will be getting to complain about? But, well, it's a day gone. That first half?
You know, we know Zimbabwe starts really strong. We spoke about it during the warm-up, but you know, the quarter's cold, and by the time we woke up, it was a bit late. Yeah, but a good performance from the boys. Second half was perfect. You know, I'm really proud of them. We came short, we pushed till the end. Yeah, we can only get better from here.
What is the biggest lesson you feel you and the boys?
Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality.
unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold. Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards.
As captain, will you feel this was luck or a reward for your effort?
No, look, I think it's a reward for effort.
Ruben
Obviously, as I
Chihumuro.
said, you know, the game
We've
of
come
two
to the
halves.
end of
We played well in the first
the
half,
first
second
day
half
of
we
the
played well.
2024
But the
Rugby
fact that the boys
Africa
showed
Men's
we
Cup
kept
here
moving
at
up, and then
the
you get into
Mandela
the
National
we're
Stadium,
very
Namboole.
feisty, Caleb
We shall
Knight,
cut to the
so
chase.
I'm very happy with the way that we went.
That
Well,
final game,
given you a good fight
Uganda
today.
20,
Maybe could be
Zimbabwe
good preparation
22.
for the rest of the tournament.
How
far
are you
do
feeling?
think Zimbabwe
Just
can
to
go,
start from there.
especially after you've seen what the rest of the teams have
It's
put on
immense
the table?
disappointment, really.
You know, like I said,
I
we're
mean,
taking
of
one game
course,
at a time. We know
you
that's
look at
hard,
it from
but
two ways,
they're
as a
coming up
pundit
next.
and then as a
They're
fan.
quality
But
team,
as a
we know
fan,
that.
heartbreak,
But,
pure
like I said,
heartbreak.
we've got a lot to work on.
I
We'll
mean,
come
a
back,
game,
watch
I
this
felt like in
video,
the first
see
half,
where we can-
attitude was very low. The way we came out, we are the home team and we are not really coming out with the intensity. Zimbabwe has more of the intensity. And then you could see the stark contrast in the second half. Uganda coming out with all the energy, coming out with all the pressure and doing the most. But unfortunately, sometimes when you dig some holes, they are too deep for you to cover up properly. So it was very, very sad to see.
I think for me, you were in the commentary box. I was sitting amongst the fans, and I was the man trying to sell the hope. I always back the team. After that, it was described as disastrous, pathetic, poor, bad, and all negative words you can use to describe that first half. I still had some hope in me, but ultimately the second half was, the word we can say is, was not good enough. The first half is where everything did not go right. We tried to play the physical game against Zimbabwe. We tried to play in our half and did not work out. If we could delve deeper into, as the Rugby Cranes clap out the fans after a disappointing performance. Well done, boys. You gave your best, but unfortunately it wasn't good enough. Why do you think Uganda lost the battle in those 40 minutes?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a case of, one, like you said, territory. Why were we playing so much rugby in our own half? We were very slow at our rucks, and there's so many mistakes being considered. And even the gain line, we were not going past the gain line. All the physical contests in the first half were lost. That's why you saw there were some crucial changes that were made for the second half, and they came and they worked. But in the first half, we lost across the board so many things. The turnovers, we were conceding so many of those. We were not carrying the ball very well, and we didn't seem to have any structure we were playing. I mean, everyone knows it's 15s rugby and it's knockout rugby. Why are you playing rugby in your half?
There's lots, we will always have lots to say. There's lots of things to get off our chest and our hearts. I have one thing to get off my heart. I felt we tried to, because Zimbabwe have the size advantage, we tried to bully Zimbabwe, but it did not work in the first half. And that leads us now to the second half, where I felt there was a change of strategy. We brought on Joseph Aredo in the midfield. We brought on Alex Aturinda at the back row. And those are some of the changes that have brought Uganda into the fight, back into the game. And an early penalty in the second half by Philip Okorat started what was a near comeback. Yeah. Walk me through that process of the comeback, where it started to look like it was going to happen maybe.
Of course, it all starts with the attitude. Like I was saying at halftime there with John Vianney, that attitude needs to change, and that's what changed. Attitude change. Of course, some very good substitutions there, but with that first penalty that was scored by Philip, it was all about getting something on the board, giving the boys something to fight for. And from there, I mean, we saw Philip doing what Philip does best, scoring the first try and then putting himself in a position to also score a second try. I mean, to give an assist to his brother. Beautiful moment, by the way. Very, very beautiful moment. I'm sure the mom, wherever she is very, very elated. But it was something that was... I showed you how beautiful sport can be. I mean, from 22-0, which seemed like to 20-20, it showed the character of what Uganda is all about and what we can do when we decide to now not play what the opposition is playing. They chose to go expansive. They chose to give the backliners more of the ball. In the first half, you could count on your fingers the number of times the backliners held the ball, but they had more of the ball, and all of a sudden, the Zimbabwean big men were tiring. And that is just what brought the things. More penalties, more turnovers, more aggression in defense. Although I have to give my hands up for Mafura, the fullback. It seemed like he had grease all over him. No one could stop him at any one point. But across the board, really, Uganda had a dream second half. But unfortunately, the mistakes of the first half were our undoing.
Rugby is a game of 80 minutes. Yeah. Uganda played for 40, but let's talk about Zimbabwe. They played rugby for 80 good minutes. They kept in the fight matches. They didn't get much of the momentum they had in the second half. There's a couple of good things that they did well. You mentioned Mufura didn't get the man of the match award, but my oh my, what a player.
Yeah. I think what Zimbabwe really was all about in the second half, even when things were not going right for them, staying disciplined in defense, and two, playing territory. Very little times did you see them play rugby in their half. They were trying to pin Uganda back into their own half, and that ideally bought them as much time as possible to be able to quell the pressure that Uganda was bringing. So that was something that was very, very important for them. Those two things, and of course some individual brilliance. I want to credit, of course, Ian Pryor at number 10, trying to kick and try to get those spaces in between, but also Mafura, as we talked about. The few times they ran the ball from their half, he was the guy, and he was just slicing through the gaps, and it kept puzzling me, like what's happening with the drift defense, what's happening with our tacklers, our cover tacklers, the flankers. So many things were going on through my mind, but sometimes you have to appreciate sheer brilliance.
Enough said about the final quarterfinal. Let's just walk through the other quarterfinals. Namibia against Burkina Faso. I felt the defending champions were caught a bit cold by the men that just got promoted, Burkina Faso. A match where you could say Burkina Faso played well, but their best was not good enough against the defending champions.
It was just really about differences in class at that level. I mean, Burkina Faso is really growing its rugby. I mean, a team that has just joined World Rugby in 2020, but look at the heights they're at. But Namibia has been there and done that. So even when they send a team that isn't even their top-tier team, they still get the job done. I mean, there was a bit of a struggle there at the beginning for Namibia, but they were able to weather that storm and be able to see out the victory, get the victories as usual. We thought that we'd be meeting Namibia in the semi-finals. Unfortunately, now Namibia is going to be meeting Zimbabwe. Very interesting game that will be.
Second quarter-final, Kenya against Senegal. Yeah. A complete turnaround from what happened in the 2021 Rugby Africa Cup in Nairobi. They've come to Kampala and they've bossed that encounter. Yeah.
Of course, it goes back to looking to the previous encounter between the two sides, Kenya and Senegal. Senegal peeping that one away from home, 22-20. But this time round, it was a case of physicality and conditioning in the very hot sun at that time. Senegal was very strong and got the early points, but unfortunately, they ran out of gas, in my opinion. And they didn't have a clear structure of how they are playing. Kenya was patient. Kenya waited, they weathered the storm of the big carries by the big Senegalese, and afterwards they were able to effect their game plan. And of course, with the tiring Senegalese, they were able to unlock the defense and able to get the points on board and seal the deal, get the job done.
final one, Cote d'Ivoire against Algeria, a Francophone derby, the only one that we've had today. What a grueling encounter. They left this whole pitch, they turned it from a rugby pitch into nearly a garden, I should say, with the big boys and their scrummages.
Yeah, definitely. That one, of course, a contest, a very, very good contest from both sides. The final score may not show you that contest, but it was a very good contest. Unfortunately, Algeria having, or fortunately, depending on where you stand, but Algeria really just having the few intangibles that were able to get things done. I mean, the execution of their plays, the territory they were playing, the structure they were playing, and you could just see the difference in rugby know-how, or know-who, I should say, in that particular instance is what really got them above or beyond the line.
That brings us to the end of today's first stage of the 2024 Rugby Africa Men's Cup. A painful one for Uganda. They drop to the placement games. Zimbabwe proceed in the Cup semi-finals. We will be back, not here at Namboole, but at the Mutesa 2 Stadium in Wankulukuku for the placement games, match day 2 and the Cup semi-finals. The first on the day will be Uganda up against Burkina Faso. The second will be Cote d'Ivoire against Senegal, and then the Cup semi-finals, Zimbabwe against Namibia and Kenya against Algeria. We will be seeing you when we return on Wednesday.
Second line again from Ian Pryor, as we talked about. They are just finding the open man, outright commit and pass in and out, and Shakim Sembusi unable to mark his man out.
Yeah, he was quite flat-footed there, as there was a dummy that was thrown in by Edward Sidwake.
That is coming from Zimbabwe. How can they counter that?
And it is conversion good, and that's 7 points to Zimbabwe here. And I guess if you're a visiting team like Zimbabwe are, what you need to do to quieten the home crowd is by getting points on the board.
Yeah, definitely that early score will do much for their confidence, and of course a little bit dent the crowd, but the one thing that the crowd should do now is be behind the Rugby Cranes. They don't...
Ian Pryor, and seems like he misses that one.
Misses that one.
Be relief for Team Uganda.
Perhaps maybe the vuvuzelas have come in handy.
And for Ian Pryor, he'll feel really hard done by this. The fact that that ball was in such a good position, ordinarily would have expected him to actually guide it home.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's
and he finds, of course, it's Aiden Barnett. They're breaking the lines. Good play there by Zimbabwe. Can they tackle? And of course, it's late there. That is another try for Team Zimbabwe by Takudzwa Musingwini. He left Philip Wokorach for dead there, and it just completes a brilliant move for Team Zimbabwe, who now lead 12-0 against Uganda.
Yeah, Takudzwa Musingwini, the man that plays for the old Hararians in Zimbabwe, getting to score. But it comes off that turnover. Uganda losing the ball, and then Aiden Barnett, the big boys, instead of carrying hard, they choose to show their soft skills, and then Musingwini on the outside finishes with relative class.
That was brilliant play from the lock there. Shot number 5, Simba Siraha, as he gained territory. Very good ball carry that was from him, and he just found that pass to his penalty anyway. And again, he misses this one. So only made one kick count.
1 out of 3.
Yeah.
Seems to have lost his bearings a little bit.
Like you said, also the wind.
Yeah, I think he's really not yet accounting for the wind very well, and he seems to be aligning with the nearer post to where he's kicking from.
Yeah.
And you think with the way the wind is blowing, he should perhaps be aligning with the post that is farther.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ruben.
Especially since he's a right-footed kicker and the ball is coming back inside.
Yeah, so Uganda just not doing well on the breakdown. Just look at that. The man with the tinted hair trying to give Conrad Wanyama a few lessons on physicality here.
Yeah, but Uganda is being very slow in their support.
Yeah.
All the ball carriers.